Well, you got to put it in perspective. Veterans as a whole are some of the best problem solvers on earth. And the problem that most of them end up having is they lose drive and purpose. And that ends up putting them into an arena where they feel undervalued and not important.
Aaron Barnes is a U.S. Army veteran and former geospatial imagery analyst who deployed multiple times overseas. Today, he's the founder of Compact Care, creating battle-tested hygiene solutions trusted by veterans, first responders, and families alike.
And I find that described an action plan for how I go after each and every endeavor that we work on. The creative thinking behind it, the answer might be, maybe this isn't right, or maybe we should try something different and think outside the box and create a new opportunity.
What's up, everybody? This is Ryan Van Ornum back with another edition of the Milpreneur Podcast, powered by Cynergists. Cynergists is your scalable operations company that helps you grow exponentially faster at a fraction of the cost. Go check out Cynergists.com for more information. Today, I have on Aaron Barnes. Really excited about our conversation today that we're gonna have. Aaron, how are you today, sir?
So excited. It's been a crazy day already.
That's good, man. Great to have you on, man. Well, I really want to hear more about what you got, with your background there. You got it, like your disposable products that you have that you're building out. But I think it's a good place to start is where you started from and how you built out from your military career. So, being that it's the Milpreneur Podcast, we like talking a little on the military side first and foremost. So tell us a little bit about your time in the military.
Okay. So I was in the Army from 2009 to 2017. Originally signed up to be in the Signal Corps with a 25 November MOS, which is a long stream of letters, basically, which is tactical satellite telecommunications.
Nice.
It ends up being a joint nodal network systems operator maintainer. At the time, it was a brand new course, and my brother said, if you're going to do anything, make sure you have something that has a value when you leave. So, being an Air Force veteran, I trusted him, and I ended up reclassing after a little while because the original one wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. So I ended up reclassing to 35 Gulf. I was a geospatial imagery analyst in the intelligence arena and deployed multiple times. Was stationed in Germany, which is not the deployment, but been to Afghanistan, spent some time in northern Turkey and parts of Syria.
Wow. Okay. So it's interesting that your first MOS is similar to what I did in the Air Force. I was combat communications, so satellites, phones, internet, back when Voice over P was just coming out.
Exactly.
Yeah, very cool, man. Well, thank you for what you did. Was there now that you've transitioned out, do you utilize any of that anymore?
That's a hard question. Yeah, a lot of it actually. Now I'm in an engineering role, with this company, but yeah, I've used communications. I had an IT consulting firm for a little while, and I still do independent fast track rapid prototyping.
Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, I always found once I was in the tech side in the military, I always, no matter what I did, I kept utilizing that tech background because it just kind of gets in you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful because they started from a place where you learn from all the legacy equipment into the latest and greatest. So you really got a whole expansion that covered all the way across the spectrum on all of the different assemblages.
Oh, absolutely. I had similar training. It was so funny, like the cipher codes, like the real old school stuff back in the day, all the way to the new stuff. It was really cool, man. So now that you've kind of transitioned out and you've done a couple other things, but I know you have something that you're building out. Tell the audience what you that you have going on now.
Well, if you can see in my background, this is one of my products. So I started a company not too long ago called Compact Care. And people ask me all the time, what is Compact Care? So it actually stems from my time in service. I spent a lot of time overseas in austere environments, and I really wish that the government had come up with a good solution for us to have equal or better hygiene than what we had. And surprise, the government never showed up for us in that arena. So I took it personal. And when I came home, I designed an entire line of micro-hygiene products you can use anywhere. So if you look right behind me here, that's our micro compression towels. We even have our own, I'm not sure if you can see that. That's our new soaps. And these are super cool. They're polyvinyl alcohol impregnated with a little bit of coconut oil. So, the idea was to design something that you could take anywhere and have it last and not degrade immediately. So we really looked at a bunch of different solutions and worked on research and development for the better part of 4 years, almost 5. And then once we brought our products to market, we found that just about everybody needs them, not just the military, not just DOD. Turns out firefighters, moms, first responders. And it's been a super exciting venture to get into. Working on all these different items. We have 3 different sets of compression towels, the smalls, which are about the size of a wash rag, the medium-sized ones that end up being about the size of a dish towel. And we even make and manufacture full-size bath towels.
Wow.
And then on the other side of it, we have our soaps. And then we just launched our new Snoodle scrubs. You can find those on our website at compactcareline.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and now most recently, LinkedIn. But the Snoodle scrubs are super cool. They are a rinseless bath sponge solution, one-time use. And they're designed for anybody that has a hard time getting in or out of a bathtub or a shower. But you could use it when you're camping, hiking, fishing, whatever. So you take out a single polyester sponge. It's infused with a very special soap. And you add a little bit of water to it, and it activates the soap. And you scrub whatever part you would like to, and then you just rinse it. Well, you don't even have to rinse it off. You wipe it off, and it's all done. And then we've even got facial towels now and a couple of other things in the pipeline that are really exciting.
That is actually super cool, man. I love what you got going on because it's a needed product, and because a lot of that stuff that's out there right now, it just like disintegrates and falls in your hand. It's like it doesn't really do anything besides once you get it wet. So I really like what you got going on. That's really cool.
I appreciate it. And I didn't think it would be as popular as it was. I had a lot of people reach out and say, these are great, super strong, compatible, small, great, take anywhere.
So one of the things that I always ask vets that served in the military that went into the entrepreneurial space is, do you find like the military has helped you with resiliency and motivational pieces? Because, we're kind of always taught to just continue to keep pushing through. And as an entrepreneur, it feels like it's such a grind to get to where you want to be. And do a lot of people have that resilience? Do you think your military career helped you with that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you got to put it in perspective. So veterans as a whole are some of the best problem solvers on earth. And the problem that most of them end up having is they lose the camaraderie and they lose drive and purpose. And that ends up putting them into an arena where they feel undervalued and not important. And I find that service has really described an action plan for how I pretty much go after each and every endeavor that we work on. It really, the creative thinking behind it, the answer might be, maybe this isn't right. Or maybe we should try something different and think outside the box and create a new opportunity. And it's been just like that in the field. There's been too many times with a field problem, and you can attest to this, especially in the IT realm or the signal realm. A lot of times you don't have the equipment you need, and you need to make things happen.
Yeah.
And that's, a mindset that I continue to live in every single day, because there's so many people that are quick to say no, or maybe that might not work, or maybe it's a silly endeavor to pursue. But I definitely think the service has doubled down and helped me, like you said, with the resiliency problem. Most people, again, they lose direction and purpose. So being able to push through all of that and use that information and reach out to the right people and continue to, pursue endeavors most people would never even think about. I definitely think a service has a lot to do with that. It really makes you look at some people that, and for lack of better terms, might be lackluster or unmotivated.
Absolutely. And it's do you find it that it's easier to screen out people now? When you're talking to people, because of I don't know, it's not vets are not no nonsense, but we just kind of filter out it's just much easier to find the right people to connect with. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, you're able to read people much better. You spend a lot of time with people, and when people tell you that they have certain capabilities or certifications, it's almost instantaneous when you look at them and you hear the inflection and tone in their voice, whether they're capable of doing something or not.
Right.
And like you said, we're not necessarily no nonsense, but we definitely don't tolerate waste of time.
What
Sense of urgency is important.
Yeah, I always remembered in the military, man. I'm fueled by caffeine and a little bit of hatred right now.
Almost always. Yeah, I feel you.
But like the thing is, man, any vets that I talk to, it's like we've all been through it together. No matter what era you served in, man, it's like you have that instant connection with people, and it's like that unwritten bond. You know what I'm saying?
The connection is something that it's esoteric. It's hard to explain to people.
Yeah.
It's the connection that we understand that the group is more important than the single.
Right.
And there's people you might meet one time and you're prepared to die for that person.
Yeah.
And that connection just on the outside is lost.
I think the only thing that would be close to it, and I don't think it even gets close to it because I've been in both realms, is I played college sports. So like being on a college like high performance team, there's that ride or die mentality, but like the thing is, it's to a point that they're still that. And when you have a vet, it's a little bit more even still that next level of commitment to your brethren.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the things that I see a lot is like how are you gauging your success in your journey now, man? Because like when you were in the military, like there was much easier, or like you got awards, you had merits, you had, like promotion levels and all of this stuff. But now as an entrepreneur, how do you gauge your success level?
Well, like you said, the military has pretty clear metrics. When you're starting a business, I think the hardest part for most people is that you need to understand that you need to treat a business like a child. You have to take care of the business. You got to look after the business. The business has to make its own money at some point. And then at some point, it needs to be able to feed its players to make it happen. And realistically, most people think that they're going to get money out of their business in the first year, maybe, depending on the kind of business they have. The way I gauge the success of my business is different. Instead of monetarily, which most businesses look at as a metric, I understand that I probably won't make money in the first year. And for me, the exposure and the awareness of my brand is paramount at this point, making new connections. And I got to tell you, since the Military Influencer Conference 2025, my phone hasn't stopped ringing. I've met some incredible veterans that are working on some amazing projects that my company will partner with. And I'm thinking we'll probably change some people's lives and give them some dignity back, specifically on the nonprofit side. But for me, it gives me purpose more than just monetarily. It gives me purpose on being able to help people feel sane again, maybe just a little bit more dignity than they once had. For me, it's enriching on a couple of levels. And I think one of the other things that people like us struggle with is when we get out, we have a very certain position with a very specific rank, and we understand where we're supposed to be at all times. Once you get out into the civilian realm, it is entirely upon you to decide where you're supposed to be and if that's a good thing or not.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I think one of the metrics for the first year should be for your business to be, depending on the type of business you have, brand awareness, exposure, and definitely customer connection. And I think Contact Care is experiencing all three of those at the same time, which is wild. And it's been super exciting.
I dig that, man. And so when you talk about like that, you're seeing growth in many different facets. Like, what do you attribute that to?
I would think the refusal to give up, the thought process that we would never quit. We want to go the extra line no matter what it takes to get to the next point. And I think it's in every single facet of this company, we are pushing the boundary of what is capable for micro-hygiene products. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's that thought process in itself that makes our products superior to, what would be competitors or other people that would attempt to have something similar. We're looking at the connection. We're not looking at the dollar sign.
I love that, man.
And I think it's more important, because if you look at brands that are really doing big things to change and help people, like if you look at some of the ones that anybody who's ever been in the military knows of the American Red Cross, right? And the American Red Cross is capable of doing some of the most amazing things I've seen for soldiers, sailors, and airmen that I've never seen any other company do. They have direct response units to help people get emergency messages overseas when they're deployed about loved ones or next of kin. There's no other company that does that. Like, let's say the MWR department, right? When we're overseas, they do the very best they can to make sure we can have just a little bit of home wherever we are. And I think the USO is another organization that really does that.
Yeah.
So I think if you've got the capability and the willpower to be able to have a company that makes a difference instead of just makes a profit, I think that's huge.
I love that, man. And absolutely, I 100% believe in that. So now, do you feel like do you feel like there's an economic or social environment that's impacted your business since you've like started this whole thing? Do you feel like that there's little pieces along the way, or is it like you control everything and then like like change based accordingly, or is it like do you have to change accordingly to what's happening in the market?
Well, there are several facets right now that affect my business. One of the most important ones is definitely distribution.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people have a couple of different ways that they distribute. We have a warehouse and we distribute personally on most occasions for wholesale sales. But in order to be able to get my products out to the people everywhere, we have an Amazon store on Amazon.com. If you search compact care, you can find pretty much all of our products. And Amazon's a wonderful tool. And I think at the beginning, it's very difficult because you have to pay for advertising and learn the hard way about how to optimize your ads to get them in the hands of the right people. So there's definitely growing pains about, learning the right way to get about to the right people. And I think that's the biggest struggle that we face as new businesses. We lack the connection. I'm 100% confident that if I was in the right room with the right people in 15 minutes, I don't have a problem closing a deal.
Sure.
The problem is I don't know any of those people and I'm still working on it. So, I think there's a lot of give and take where we're at. And I think if you are 100% adamant about making it happen, if you put enough energy into anything, I think you'll be successful. And I think that comes back to the military. If you really look at all the things that we achieved in the military, if we put 10% of the effort we put into anything in the military, you're going to be successful, period. And I think most people lack the commitment or the integrity to be honest with themselves about exactly how much effort they're putting into things.
Yeah. I would agree with that 100%. So, man, I love what you had to say on that piece of it. One of the things that we do on this program, we transition a little bit here, is know a little bit personally. Like we do a little rapid fire questions. Are you ready for something like that?
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So here we go. Do you have a favorite book that you're reading right now?
Favorite book I'm reading? I don't want to sound snobby, but I'm reading 2 or 3 books right now. And the last one that I read that was really impactful to me is The Untethered Soul by Mark A. Singer.
Nice.
And that book focuses mostly on understanding that your subconscious is not who you are.
Nice.
And I think that's a powerful message, and it changes how you look at things to be successful.
Absolutely. I love that. Coffee, tea, soda, energy drink. What are you drinking?
Like you said, caffeine and hatred. So it's mostly energy drinks. No coffee. I will drink tea occasionally. And, I'm trying to make the switch to tea full time. But energy drinks are what powers my life right now.
I dig it. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
As a business owner, it's both. A lot of times I stay up because I can't stop thinking about what the next step might be. Other days I've got big events, so I have to be up early. And I'm not sure if you get it, but I think every veteran gets it. Like I cannot be late. So I'll wake up an hour prior to the 15 minutes. It's out of control.
100%. I'm in the same boat as you on that one, bro. If you had one superpower, what would that be?
Ooh, that's a hard one too. Flight, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good call on that one. Do you have a historical figure, whether it's living or deceased, that you would love to have dinner with just to pick their brain?
Another hard question. There's many historical figures that I would love to understand. I might have to pass on that one at the moment.
It's all good, man. It's all good. What's one skill that the military did not teach you that you had to learn real fast in running your own business?
Patience and compassion. 100%.
There's no compassion in the military? What are you talking about, man? Just shut up and color, dude.
It's completely different for us. We have to learn how to love again.
Exactly. Totally understand that one, man. What's on your playlist that you got rocking out?
So I'm a metal guy. So right now I'm in between a couple of different bands, but at the moment, Sleep Token for sure. And Chevelle actually just put out a new album that's pretty amazing.
Nice.
And
Nice.
Deftones just put out a new album. Absolutely incredible. Just some thoughts.
I dig it, man. Do you have a favorite cheat meal?
Anyone that I get to have. Mostly lasagna, and I think that's the major weakness for
That
sure.
is a good call, lasagna, man, with a little the cheese and stuff in there, man. That's some good ass stuff right there. Chef's kiss. Mwah. I love it, dude. Do you have a bucket list travel spot?
Yes, I have a couple. So I lived all over Europe, but never really got to travel outside of Southwest and Southeast Asia's. I would definitely love to check out, and it escapes my mind at the time right now, but I definitely want to check out the Maldives for sure. And there's some other parts of, if they ever created an app for where people live there and they want to show you the local spots, I definitely want to check that out in some of the, the smaller Eastern Asian countries.
I dig that, man. That's something we could probably put together. That's cool stuff. I love it, man. Well, you made it through our rapid fire questioning. Really appreciate you being a good sport on that. I got a couple other questions to kind of wrap this up, but if you could go back and in time, kind of like that superhero type of thought process behind this, that you're a time traveler, if you could go back and give yourself that younger version that went in the military, if you can give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
It's not as serious as they make it out to be. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, I love that, man. Very cool. Now, conversely, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
A hard question too. Where I would like to see myself versus where I might end up. Because I am rather scatterbrained and I do have a lot of ventures going on right now. I'd like to see myself with my family somewhere on a vacation, not worried about anything.
That's quality stuff right there. And it's one of those things, is like being able to balance and have that, like I always hear people say, like, what's a work-life balance look like to them? I always feel it's kind of like a pendulum on a clock. Like, if I'm going to be with my kids, like I'm a single dad, so like I'm going to be with my kids, I'm going to be 100% present with them during that time, but if I'm working, I have to be present with that. So like, I don't know if they're like, for me, that's the way that I look at it. I just have to be very present in the time that I have with them.
Well, that's an incredible thought process, and kudos to you for that, because, a lot of people will work themselves to death and they get nothing out of it. And the most important thing is the time that you're going to spend with the next generation and your kids. And, you're at a tender age where that is the most important thing. And most people don't get to that point. So that means you're a great dad.
You gotta love them for when the time that you have them, man. Because, the people that you love the most, that they're trying, you're raising them up so they can actually be away from you. And that's a crazy concept to think about,
It's a really hard concept for most people.
Yeah.
At some point they might leave, but that's not ever what you want, I don't think.
That's why you raise them up right, that they always come back. So that's the way I look at it, man. So, but dude, I've absolutely loved having you on the podcast today. If people are interested in Compact Care, how can they reach out to you, man?
So we're on compactcareline.com. That's our main website. Again, we're on all the socials: TikTok, Compact Care, Instagram, Compact_Care, Facebook, Compact Care, and most recently LinkedIn, Compact Care. Now, if you want to reach out, you can call me direct. My phone number is 912-660-4105, or you can call the office, entirely up to you. But if you reach out at compactcareline.com, we will get back to you.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, Aaron, it's been great having you on the Milpreneur Podcast today. Thank you so much for your time today, my friend.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Really.
Absolutely. Once again, this is Ryan Van Ornum signing off for the Milpreneur Podcast, powered by Cynergists. Thank you so much, guys, and enjoy your day. Until the next time, stay blessed. Take care, everyone.